Jesse buys 45 tennis balls. He packs the tennis balls equally into 3 bags. How many tennis balls does he pack into each bag? Remember, first step, underline the question. How many tennis balls does he pack into each bag? Now remember, the answer statement, you cross how many and the auxiliary verb does. Now using the words left, tennis balls he packed into each bag, we're going to start answering the rest of the question. So we know that we start with the subject, which is he, and instead of he, I'm going to put Jesse, because that's he. Then the verb pack, then packs, blank, and then I use the rest of the words. Tennis balls into each bag. Now that I have my answer statement, now I'm going to look for the important information. And I'm going to start representing that information, but this time I'm going to do it with some manipulatives that are virtual. So Jesse buys 45 tennis balls, and he needs to pack the tennis balls equally into 3 bags. Now, because here they're asking us how many tennis balls into each bag, because we don't know how many in each, that means, remember, if they want to know how many in each, they don't know how many into each bag, then that's going to signal to me it's division, and because I'm making 3 equal groups. Now let's represent the same problem with some virtual manipulatives. We're going to use this place value chart to do the division. And if you notice, the blue ones are the ones, the pink are the tens, and the greens are the hundreds. Now we know that Jesse has 45 tennis balls. So let's represent them: 10, 20, 30, 40, and 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So these are the 45 tennis balls. And we're going to distribute them equally into 3 bags. So we're going to divide, and we're going to put the number of groups, which is going to be 3. Now, if you notice, this is group 1, group 2, group 3. Now we're going to start dividing. Always start in the tens, so 1 10 for this group, 1 10 for the second group, and 1 10 for the third group. If you notice, I can only give 1 10 to each group. Now, I cannot give more 10s because I only have 1 left. And if I put it to 1 group, see, it's not going to be possible because it's not going to be a fair share. So we had to break it. We had to regroup it because all of them have to have the same amount. So when I break it, now I have more ones. The 5 that I had before plus 10 more. So in total, I actually have 15. So 6 and 6 is 12. 13, 14, and 15 ones. Now I'm going to start distributing those, and I think I can do more than 1 at a time. So far, 3 for each group. And then so far it's 13, 13, and 13. So let me put 2 more because I see I can have 2 more in each group. And remember, dividing is about making equal groups. So if you notice, now I have 10 and 5 is 15. So this group has 15, this group has 15, and the last group has the same number, which is 15. So 45 divided by 3 is going to be 15. 110 each group, which is this one, and 5 ones. So you notice my algorithm marks the same. So the answer is going to be 15. Now let's check that with manipulatives. So we have the same problem again. And so we said we had 45, 10, 20, 30, and 40. These are going to be the tens. And then I'm going to have 5 ones. Which are these? Now I have my 3 groups. Group 1, group 2, and group 3, which is going to be representing the 3 bags. Now, remember, we always start dividing using the algorithm. We always start looking at the tens first. We always start distributing the ones with more value, which is the tens. So I have 4 tens. And I notice I'm going to use multiplication. You know, if I'm just focusing on the tens, I'm trying to remember this is not a 4. Actually, that it's a 40. So I have to look for a number that 3 times something has to be almost the same as 4. The same as 4 or almost the same. In this case, it's going to be times 1. Because I have 4, I only can give 1 to each group. So let me see. 1 for this group, 1 for this group, and 1 for this group. So I cannot give more. So I gave 1. Now in total, how many did I give? So remember, the second step is to multiply. 1 times 4 is, 1 times 3 is 3. Why? Because I gave 3. 1, 2, and 3. So now the next step is subtract. When we subtract, how many do we have left? We have left 1. 4 tenths minus 3 tenths that I gave away. How many are left? 1 is left. Now this time, remember, it's not a 40, it's a 45. I did the ones. This is the time to do, I did the tens. This is the time to do the ones. That's why we're going to drop it down. So we have 15 ones. And this is when I said I cannot give more tens. I'm going to regroup this 10 into 10 ones. So let me put the 5 that I have already here and then add the 10 more. So now I have 15. When this was here, remember that was 15 too. I regroup it, I still have 15 left. And this is the time for me to find how many for each group. Now, if I have 15, I remember that a number times 3 is 15. I'm using my related facts. 3 times a mystery number is 15, and I remember that number is going to be 5. So I multiply. 5 times 3 makes 15. So let me see. This is telling me I have to give 5 to each group. So 5 to this group, 5 to the second group, and 5 to the third group. So if you notice, I have 0. That's why we subtract, because we had 15 first, and then when I do groups of 5, I distribute all of them, 5, 10, and 15, so I have 0 left. If you notice, there's nothing left here. Now I need to check if my answer is right. And I'm going to use the reverse operation, which is multiplication. I'm going to use the quotient, which is 15, times 3. I have the multiplication here, 15 times 3. So times 3. And then remember, the dividend is the whole. So I have to get my whole in the multiplication at the end. So 5 times 3, or 5 times 3 or 3 times 5 is 15. And then 3 times 10 is 30. When I add those partial products, I'm going to have 5 ones and 4 tens. And if you notice, this 45, which is the whole, is the same as my dividend, which is the whole too. If this is the same, they're equal, that means my answer is right.